Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. But most of all, good day. Welcome back to another episode of Bareham Engines. In the last video, I told you I was going to be having a good sort out of the workshop to try and make a bit more space, a bit more building area, a bit more stripping area. And I've done it, guys. I've done the best I can. Let's have a little look around. So we'll start off with this end, guys. So what I've done, obviously before, all we had was space for these three really for building. This one over here we had there. So what I've done, I've moved the toolbox there. I've made a bit of use of my plasterboard actually just to separate the back of the toolbox to all the swarf from the mill. So looks like a good idea to me. So this area is pretty sorted. What I've done is I've took this bench and engine from over there, obviously put the toolboxes there and put this there. So we've basically got a clean area here for 4 engines now. I've moved the big table over the back that was a bit of a waste of space really, and I've put it over here. I've sort of positioned one of the vices at the back, so that is absolutely ideal. But now we've got loads more working space here for cylinder heads. As you can see, I've put the valve spring compressor on the bench here, so that's nice, sort of working at chest height. That's really nice. So this is ideal now for cylinder heads. So even the heads that we've took off the engines that we're doing, we can now put on this bench. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a few more of these little cylinder head stands made up to put on there. Where the table was over there, you can see all the pending work is over there now, which is nice and neat out the way, and it gives us a nice sort of gully here to get engine stands and transport sort of blocks and what have you over to that end of the workshop, which is ideal. We've still got a bit of sorting out here to do. There's a sort of bit of work in progress there, but to be honest, at the moment we're just rolling out the ramp. We're not really going to be able to use it. The Lagonda engine, what I'm going to do is transport that, clean the back of the workshop bench over there, and I'm going to put the Lagonda over there because we're still waiting obviously on the white metal in there, so that's going to be a while, but at least it'll be out the way. And then what that does is free up 2 benches here for stripping. Now this is the bench that the valve spring compressor was on, so that's a nice big sort of work bench there. So at least we can get 2 more engines stripped here and get them in the process of cleaning, etc., ready to be, once they're all done, ready to be transported over to this area, which is the clean area. So that's what I want to try and do. Keep the engines for stripping there and then bring them over here for the building process, and keep this a bit of a clean area, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's what I've done so far, guys. As I say, it gives us quite a lot more room through here. I was here till about 7 o'clock last night. But yeah, we're just trying to make the use of the room we've got really. But I think this definitely is a lot better. You know, least now, as opposed to having 3 engines on the go, least now potentially we can have sort of 6 engines on the go, and we've still got a big old area there to build the cylinder heads, and it keeps a lot more stuff off the floor. So what I'm going to do is when we've got rid of that machine, I'm going to get some more racking over there to get all this stuff off the floor, because I know you guys don't like it and neither do we. We try and keep the work that's done on the benches and off the floor. This is all to be done really. I'm really happy with the progress, guys. As you can see, there's far less on the floor now. It's less of a hazard to walk through. So we do listen to what you say. It's surprising, before we had this channel, we weren't really aware of the sort of bad habits you get into. But obviously from reading the comments and you guys sort of jogging our memory, you know, it is very important, especially now we've got another couple of lads working with us. We're yet for the boys to come in and see this. I'm sure they'll be very happy with the new layout for the time being. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. So first job of today was sizing these rods. These are a set of Cosworth standard rods, and these are for some good friends of ours, PJ Motorsport in Wolverhampton. Got the utmost respect for PJ Motorsport. I don't know whether you've heard of them before, but they specialise in Cosworths. And Paul and Mark there, Paul in particular, when I started getting involved with the Cosworths, Paul was a really big help to me. So even now, Paul is, you know, he is the man with the Cosworths. I sort of know the engines obviously now, but anything to do with Cosworths, any little issue, Paul usually helps us good and proper. So Top guys, they've helped me a lot in the past. So next job this morning is to put this cylinder head together. So this is the 3.4 Jag head that Paul's been doing. Paul's meant to be back this afternoon and he was going to do the clearances on this, but I've already done them for him. He's cleaned the head up, blasted it, cleaned it and all the rest of it. I've given it a lick of silver paint, but we've just done the clearances. So the story is with this, the engine was already stripped. It was pretty good before. It had the valves and seats done before. So what we've done is we've stripped it, cleaned it, faced the valves very slightly and just lapped them into the seats. So the clearances that are not going to be a million miles out. So what I've done, rather than put all the springs in and cams in and do it off the shims, I've actually just done it off the valves like I normally do if they're not too far out. We really weren't too far out, it's only a few thou. These little holes you see here, Paul has already drilled and tapped for the bucket holding down kit. So that's all it is really, just sort of machine plates that sit sort of half on either side of the bucket housings, bolt in there, and they just clamp them down and stop those bucket housings from sliding up as they can do on the Jags and going into the cam lobes. So we'll put those on in a minute. We've put the valve springs in and we just put in the lifters in now with the little shims underneath. So these are the buckets, and you see inside you've got the shim. You've got to have some means of keeping the shim in the top of the bucket. So what I do is use a very, very tiny bit of grease, just rub that shim in there round and round until you can feel it sort of grinding against the top, and that will keep that in there like glue. Now we're all done, we take that off there, keeping the shim the right way round, or the way round it came out, and we pop that, where are we, into the top of the spring top there. A little bit of oil around the base of the bucket, and when we pop that in there, just give it a turn round as it goes in. You can feel that nice coating of oil, and then that is in there nicely. Just fit in one of these bucket retaining kits now. What we do is we use a little bit of thread lock on these bolts, and you can see how it sits fairly close to the bucket, but it's not touching the bucket, and this one's sort of sitting halfway. So all it is just stopping, if these were to shift, they're going to shift this way into the cam and cause catastrophe. So all they do is just hold them down there. So put these in with a little bit of thread lock and they won't come loose at all then. But you see Paul's marked them, inlet 2. So we've got inlet 1, inlet 3, and then the exhaust on that side. So we'll get these ones in. So we've got that clamp kit in now, guys, as you can see, look. They're all in, done up. Lovely job. Next thing is get the camshafts in here. So we're halfway through the day already, guys. Yeah, it's really surprising. I haven't been in a terribly good mood this week, and I think what it was this workshop was just really bugging me. But half a day in with the new layout, and I guess they're right, organised workshop, organised mind, I'm happy. So yeah, really, really happy with this. Feel like there's a lot more room now. We can crack on with a lot more and keep our customers happy by getting these engines done rather than just laying about. As promised, Paul is back on Thursday afternoon. You promised us, mate, you'd be back.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't promise, you said you might be.
No.
It's nice to have you back.
No, I said I would be, and I'm true to my word.
You are.
I'm here. So, you know, got to keep, someone's got to prop the company up.
Yeah.
When you're in the workshop.
Not going to ask you where you've been.
No.
Doesn't really matter, but...
I've been doing business.
Business.
Okay,
stuff.
mate.
So what's going on here then?
Well, we bolted the head onto the Jag.
Got the head on the Jag after I kindly did your job.
You got,
and did the clearances for you.
Did the clearances, you bolted the cams in for me, mate.
All right? Everything's going to plan?
Everything's going to plan. Bolted on lovely, all torqued up.
Yeah.
Just putting these front studs in.
Okay. So what front studs are these?
You've got 2 this side and 2 that side.
Oh, I see. I didn't see you got 4 on the front.
Yeah, and you obviously got the 2 here.
Oh,
I mean, they're not really torqued up. They just obviously, I think, stop the front.
Just nip them.
Just nip them.
Stop the oil leaking out of there.
Yeah.
It's all looking very nice though, buddy.
It's all right, isn't it? It's,
these 3 engines here are looking almost complete now.
Well, when the sort of these 2 are in the final stage, so
yeah,
that just needs to be timed up and sump on. That needs to be timed up.
I've ordered the timing kit for that one over there.
Well, the actual locking tool.
The actual proper kit, yeah.
Yeah, because the one we got isn't. Well, it's not for an N.
No, is that an N52?
Don't know.
Or an N54.
That's a 52, but
But
whatever.
well, I think the difference is because you've got all this shenanigans, the locking tool is sort of deeper, really.
Oh,
so
that's what you used on the 54
yeah,
head,
so,
didn't you?
and also it comes with the kit here to lock the
Yeah.
with the pegs in to sort of lock these pickups here for the cam sensors.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we've ordered that, mate. Hopefully get that maybe first thing,
Monday morning.
maybe.
Well, the cam's,
Nice to get it early next week, wouldn't it?
cam's bolted in, so we do. Just need the locking tool, and yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
And that'll be straightforward enough soon. Time it up tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
These aren't too bad actually. Once you know what you're doing.
Which you do now.
Well, first time I didn't, did I? But
No,
But-
I don't. Don't look at me.
that one is basically the same. Still waiting for pistons on that one.
Right.
But once we get the pistons and rods, we're banging them in. Head's ready to go under there.
Okay. That's all done. Clearance is done.
Oh yeah, she's
Well done,
beautiful.
mate.
Beautiful.
Sump's painted,
Yeah.
as is the 3.4.
That's got the baffle in. Got the baffle. We need to put the baffle on that one first. But
Okay.
don't take long.
Yeah,
does it?
get in there, mate. More to the point, anyway, more importantly, what do you think to the new layout of the workshop?
You need to let well. I hate it actually. No, I'm joking.
Do you hate it?
No, I'm joking. Joking. No, it's good. It is better. Having this,
Having that there, mate.
that is easier than having to
I
walk across
treated
there.
you there.
The only
I
problem
treated
is,
you there.
the only problem is,
And making use of the plasterboard.
nice guard.
That is genius, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So when you're milling machine,
See?
if I stand here doing
Keep
this,
all the swarf down that area, look, away from the clean area.
Yeah, so now-
which is what the viewers want.
I can stand here like that, and I
Yeah.
won't get swarf in my eyes.
That's it. We always use the correct safety gear.
In all
around here, mate,
seriousness,
don't we?
I've-
Just won't show them our feet.
You've got new safety shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In all seriousness, though, swarf never gets over it anyway. So
Well, not really, no, but it does. It's sort of. It does get underneath there, and I've got to keep brushing it. Seeing as I'm the only one that uses the brush, it is quite frustrating for me.
uses the
Not so much for you.
Well, if you got a dustpan and brush, mate, we wouldn't have to sweep it across the whole floor, would we? So,
No. Well,
maybe put out a Christmas list.
what, dustpan and brush?
Dustpan and brush.
I'm not getting down on my hands and knees, mate.
One.
Because let's face it, I'm the only one that's going to be using the dustpan and brush.
No, I'll use it if you buy one.
Yeah, all right. Well, what's wrong with the big brush then? How come you don't use that?
It's too heavy for me.
Pansy. So you like it though? You think it's all right? do
Yeah,
you?
the only problem is obviously got.
John likes it.
I've got to work closer
he's
to
been
Isaac.
on that.
but-
He's been on that valve
joking.
spring compressor all day.
Is he?
Yeah.
What's he doing? What head's he doing?
I don't know. He just keeps doing every head.
Same
He
head.
just likes using it. 'cause
Same
it's
head
in a
from
nice
last week.
It's in a nice position.
It is probably better.
Sort of waist height.
It's probably better for the old lower back.
Yeah, he does it. He likes it. He likes it in his little zone now.
Yeah,
But yeah, this is better. You can get these two stripped now.
yeah, it's easier having the dirty stuff there, definitely.
Yeah.
And the clean stuff there. It obviously makes a big difference.
Well, this was my feeling, you see, because these were here from the word go, and you sort of, when you're stripping an horrible greasy engine, you just get rubbish all over the clean area.
Now that'll become cleaner, you know.
This is it.
So, you know, my work area is a bit cleaner than it was anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, you can't keep mixing the two, can you?
No,
You
no.
want to keep these clean.
I think it's progress. Well, I'm glad you like it, Paul.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see you back.
Thanks, mate.
Right, guys, we're getting towards the end of the day here now, and you can see I'm boring the first bore on this unusual set of barrels. Now, 3 guesses as to what this is, and I bet you can't guess, because I don't think since I've been here I've ever seen one of these either. And this is an Alvis 6-cylinder. So this has come from Exeter Engineering. So those guys sort of restore old cars and get involved with these old engines, and they periodically send sort of 2 or 3 engines worth of bits in to have machining and various work, balancing, etc. And they usually bring obscure stuff in. So these guys are the ones that we did that Riley engine for, put the liners in and that. But yeah, this is an Alvis set of barrels, obviously a 6-cylinder. Now, the reason this is in is because we've got to put liners in it. So it's the standard bore, I think, is 73mm. This was at 73.75. It had liners before, although different size liners. So what the reason was for that, I do not know. Why they just didn't put one size in. But what I've done is I've gone first on number 1 is the biggest liner. So I bored that out and just sort of seen what it peeled out at. And I've managed to find a liner from Westwood that will suit. So Obviously I'm going to have to bore the others and just double check before I order and make sure that they clean at that. They're a straight liner, so we can't put a top hat in this. It's a straight liner, and unfortunately I can't get a step at the bottom. So these are going to have to go in as the old ones were, with just a 3 thou interference fit. So yeah, just boring the top one. Another thing that this has had is extensive welding on the surface of the block face. I don't know where they've sent it, but it's been welded properly. Obviously a lot of welding on the top. So first thing I've had to do, if you can see those sort of patches there where it's been welded. I've faced it pretty roughly. It probably needs another 5 thou cut off there to clean the block face. But I've just cleaned the welding so I can get a flat enough face to set it up on this boring bar. But yeah, real nice bit of welding. It machines just like the original cast iron. But yeah, very rare, unusual set of barrels really. Let's get this one bored out and just see what it cleans at for these liners. Right guys, I'm just in the process of doing this Alvis engine and ran into a little problem. So I bored the first bore and peeled the liner out. So you bore it to a point where it sort of peels the old liner out and it comes out the bottom, and then we do the next size cut up to see what the bore cleans at after that. And I come up with a liner, WCL15, so it cleaned an external of 77mm once the old liner had turned out. But when I did my next cut after the old liner had peeled out, I did one more cut after that, and you never guess what guys, we had another liner peel out, which means that whenever someone has machined this, although the liners are visible, the original liners, someone has put a liner within a liner. That in my eyes is not good practice guys. It's not something that we would do. It's pretty bodgy. Let me know down in the comments what you think of that, but I think that that is just proper bodgy, to be honest with you. A liner and a liner means you've got two possibilities of one of them coming loose, especially the internal one, because the wall thickness is just not there. I mean, you can see how thin that is. Absolute bodge, guys. So what we've had to do now is machine out the old liner, obviously, machine to the next size up, and the next liner that's on the shelf. Fortunately, we can get one that's not too much bigger. Otherwise, we're getting a bit thin in between, you know, two cylinders. So yeah, bit of a lash up guys. Haven't seen that for a while, but yeah, not good. So we've almost finished our third bore now guys. It's so that's halfway through. As you can see, we don't really want to take any more out because it's getting quite thin in between the two cylinders now, but halfway there. So hopefully Monday the liners will turn up and we can get those liners in, and by the middle of next week we'll have this one all finished. But thanks ever so much for watching guys. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Cheers guys.